Oh my god. Okay. Anyways, welcome back to another data pack guide. So this is for a new stand I added as well as a new feature. Stand is Whitesnake. I'm sure most of you know what it is because when I put out a little trailer, like everyone was typing in all caps in the comments. That was very nice. But before we get to that, I've got to show you how to get a stand. So in this case, we're going to need these three items right here. So you get that. And it's the same as my previous data packs. So the first thing you do, you drop another star, and you drop an arrow, spectral arrow, and then this gives you the stand arrow. And then after that, you're going to need an item that will specifically get you the stand that you want. So the item that you're going to need for Whitesnake is black dye, because that's funny. Simply drop them on the ground together, and the nearest player will be given Whitesnake. In that case, it's me. So for Whitesnake, you only have three items that you initially get. So one is going to control most of our abilities, the other is going to allow us to remote control our stand, and the third is the stand item itself. The stand item itself is what's used to summon your stand, so to do that, simply put it into the far right slot in your hotbar, like this, and there he is. There's Whitesnake. If you want to desummon your stand, all you have to do is put this item into your offhand. You can swap him instantly by pressing F, and there you go, he's gone. Another feature of this item is that you can silence your stand. So previously, most of my stands would automatically give you the item back. For example, if this punch disc item, if you dropped it or something, it would automatically be replaced. For Whitesnake, that's actually not the case. If he is not silenced, all the items won't be automatically replaced. What you can do is you can right-click the Whitesnake, the little stand item, and this will silence your stand. So what this basically does is it temporarily disables your stand so that you don't have those three items cluttering up your inventory. Once you do this, your stand item will automatically be replaced every time it leaves your inventory. And Minecraft thinks that you're missing your stand whenever the item leaves. So yeah, like that. Whenever you click an item, it will duplicate it, which is a little annoying. So that's why I changed things this time. Anyway, to unsilence your stand, simply right-click this item again, and as you can see, all the items are back. And this one's duplicated. It's alright though, I'll just drop it, and it automatically gets deleted. The second item we'll go over is the remote control item. This item's pretty straightforward, which is why I'm going over it second. All you do is you put this item into your offhand, into your main hand, and when you right-click and hold, Whitesnake will move whichever direction you are facing. Look at him spin, that's cool. It's cool as hell. Alright. When Whitesnake's remote, he can still use all of his abilities, which we'll get into, but just to sort of show that off, there he is punching, and there he is trying to grab a stand disc. If you want to return Whitesnake, all you have to do is put this in your offhand. Whitesnake will also automatically return to you if he gets too far away. He won't automatically come back unless I move too far away, right? So I go here, and I keep going, and there he is. Okay. Now the third item is the most important item of this pack. So what this does is it controls all of Whitesnake's abilities. Using this in your right hand will cause Whitesnake to go out in front of you and punch. This punch is just like any other stands punch, and I demonstrated that on ice to show you that it will knock back mobs. It's pretty fun. You can use this while he is... I messed it up. Yeah. You can use this while he's remote. Get him. Oh my god. Yeah, okay. The punches don't do knockback when he's remote. Whitesnake's main ability in the series is that he can steal parts of things' souls and store them as CDs. In order to use this ability, what you want to do is put this punch and disc item into your offhand. Mobs will start having little particles around them, so you can see some on the iron golem. Come over to this cow. Okay, there's a creeper. So these different particles will appear above nearby mobs, and what they indicate is the type of stand disc that you will get. If I can demonstrate how disking in general works, I'll walk up to this spider, I right click, and that's what happens. Since the spider's been disked, it no longer will respond to stimuli. Its soul's gone, right? So it's just sitting there, doesn't do anything, and this makes him a pretty easy target for whatever you want to do. Right. But the main utility of disks is after you've stolen it from an entity. So I'll do this again on the cow, and if you want to restore a mob back to its normal state, put the right stand disc back into it, and there you go. Cow's good as new. Oh, I suck at this. Now, the reason that there are different particles and different disk types is because each of these disks has their own use. And to go over those uses, I've set up a little structure in here. And you can see lining the walls are every single type of disk. Now, there's a lot of disks to go over. So what I'll do is I will try to give a quick summary of what each of these disks does, as well as demonstrate them in action. So the first disk I'll go over is the passive mob disk. You'll get these from mobs that don't usually attack the player, and they will do different things depending on the kind of mob that you would put them in, but their main utility is that they pacify mobs, meaning they stop them from being hostile. Right, so here you have the zombie, and it's trying to attack some villagers in this house. Oh, nope, that's a person. Passive mob discs, when put into mobs, will remove their hostile tendencies. So in the case of this zombie, right, he usually would try to kill me, but right now he doesn't feel like it because he's been pacified. I can, of course, disc him, and you can see I got both a passive and hostile mob disc, the hostile mob being the zombie itself, and this being the one I put into it. Now, the second type of disc that I'll go over is the hostile mob disc. So for starters, putting this in a silenced hostile mob will bring them back to normal. But if you put them into a passive mob, like this cow, he won't do anything right now because there isn't really anything to attack. But let's say I summon a villager, just a guy. I'm not used to this. The cow will then become hostile and start attacking players as well as villagers and things that hostile mobs tend to attack. The only exception is that mobs made hostile by these discs will not actually attack the Whitesnake user. So, once again, if I go into survival mode, he will not attack me. The third kind of disc you can get is an aquatic disc. So you get these from fish or squid or anything that swims. And basically what putting this inside of a mob will do is convince that mob that they are in fact a water mob. So what that means is that, for example, this iron golem here, he thinks he's supposed to be in the water, and now he is dying. That's very unfortunate for him. But maybe if I can help him out, or at least show this off for a second, you'll notice that the iron golem will stop taking damage once it's put in water. I should also mention that these discs can be thrown sort of long distances. Visually, it's really buggy, and I'm not sure what this is. This is like a Minecraft thing. But you can use these discs. Yeah, you see I hit that creeper. And you can throw them, but they're much more reliable at close range. You can see it actually just bounced off the creeper. Which, now that I think about it, I kind of want that disc from him. The fourth kind of disc that you can get is something that I spent a little bit of time trying to figure out how to do, but once I figured it out, I was so happy. So, the fourth type of mob that you can get a disc from is a villager. Now you can see he's got these trades. Wants a bow. Sure, I'll take that, buddy. When you disc a villager, you can see he went back to normal. And you don't actually automatically get the disc. You have to walk over, pick it up. What this disc has on it is all of this villager's information, including their trades. So what I've just done is I've turned this Fletcher into a portable list of trades that I want. So if I want to turn this villager back into normal, I can also use a passive disc, but he won't get his trades back. Anyways, here's a guy. He's got his own trades. He's got his own career. But I've decided I want him to be my Fletcher. So what I can do is I can use this villager disc, and I can freak him out. And as you can see, he has the same trades as well as the same discounts. It is the exact same person. So that's a very useful thing. And so if you have like a mending book villager and you want to go traveling, you can literally just bring your mending trades with you. You can bring whatever. Well, I think I can like... I can scare them. That's awesome. One thing that I would be careful about, though, is that if you have a villager disced, but they are a villager that you haven't traded with, they will still behave like normal villagers do, where they lose their profession unless they have the right workstation by and it's the right time of day. Personally, I like to just label my discs because you can, use an anvil to rename them. And that helps me keep track of which villager is which, as well as some of the other discs that might be important to keep track of. So the next disc we are going to get into is the creeper disc. This one can be quite hazardous to put into mobs, and this is maybe the only time I'd recommend doing this at range. But what this does, I can't believe I missed. Can't believe I missed once again. Okay. So what this disc does is it convinces mobs that they are creepers. And what creepers do is they like to explode when people get near them. So now this pig has been turned into a creeper. And it'll behave like a normal pig. You won't even know that this is a dangerous animal. But I know this doesn't really make a lot of sense, but I at least remember one scene in the show where Pucci made a frog explode for literally no reason, so I'm adding it to this data pack, and there's nothing that you can say to convince me that this makes any less sense than that scene. I don't. It just tells the frog to blow up, and it does. That's not how frogs work. But the last disc before we get to player discs is the acid disc. Now, I'm sure a lot of you who've played any JoJo-related games know that Whitesnake usually has an ability that releases some kind of acid that slows things down. It's sort of a weird ability that has nothing to do with discs, and it wasn't ever completely explained, so people just assumed it was like some side ability Whitesnake had. So what I did is, instead of putting that in as its own attack that the user has by default, I added it in as a disc that you can get from slimes. So here's a slime. I'm going to disc him. There you go. Got my acid disc. And what this disc does is, upon use, it will release a cloud of acid around me. And what this does is, it works like acid, and it will slow down mobs as well as deal damage over time. So he stopped taking damage because poison doesn't kill things in Minecraft. This disc is the only disc that can only be used by the Whitesnake user. All those other discs can be used by any player, anytime. But this one requires you to have Whitesnake. It can be used remotely, so if I send Whitesnake over to this cow, and I use this disc, you can see the cow starts taking damage, and it's also slow, but you can't really see that. Hold on, can I Yeah! Okay, I did it. The last two discs are discs that you receive from players, which is why I have another player here. So if I go, if I go into this house, you can see that there's a person, and they are a stand user. Say hi, person. That's just me on another computer, but I'll pretend it's one of my friends. Hold on. Ow, that's very disrespectful of you. And the first disc is a sight disc. So if I disc this person, I take their sight, and these particles appear around them, but only if they are a stand user. So what this disc does, is it is basically just the player's sight. This effect is only temporary for players, just due to balancing concerns. So right now, they are blind, and if I use a sight disc, you can see I now have night vision. Yeah, see, it looks completely normal. It's supposed to be night, but I can see everything. It's because I had this little disc on me. You can also, if you really want to, take your own vision. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but just in case you, wait, what if I, oh, if I, oh! Oops. If a player has had their sight taken, they become vulnerable to having their stand stolen. And this is probably the most powerful PvP tool that this stand has. So right now, they'll have these purple particles around them when their sight's stolen, and when they're vulnerable. This will only last about 10 seconds, not... However, it only takes a very small amount of time for Whitesnake to end a battle. So just to show you how stealing a stand works, I will steal their vision, and now I will steal their stand. And you'll notice something pretty interesting here. So when you steal a player's stand, you don't actually get the stand disc. The other player actually gets their stand disc. And with their stand disc, they can get their stand back right away. So what this means is that after you steal someone's stand, you can't just... You don't automatically get it. You still have to defeat that player and kill them, so... Sorry. Oh. Sorry, bud. What this segues into is the next section of new stuff that I added for all of my data packs. So stand discs can be used, they can be right-clicked to give you the stand that's on that disc. So it won't say it automatically, but in this case, this was Gold Experience, that's the one I just took, and this one right here is D for C. The only stand that's immune to being stolen is Gold Experience Requiem, but you have to make sure that you have it summoned. Right now, I can't use either of these stand discs because I already have a stand, and you can only have one stand at a time. So what I need is a way to remove my stand and store it. Now, I have Whitesnake, so apparently I can just disc myself. But there's another way that all players can use, and I'm going to show that off right now, because it's a feature that people have been sort of requesting for a long time. You stay outside, buddy. What this new feature is it is a way to summon an NPC that will store your stands as discs for you. The way that you summon this NPC is very simple, and it's pretty cheap. You make a book, and you write whatever you feel like. Not literally. See, there's a bunch of garbled nonsense to prove the point. And all you have to do is name this book Bible. Here you can see I have the Holy Bible in my hands. Now what you do with this Bible is you read it. So let me right click. And as you can see, you have summoned an NPC. So Pucci, I don't know, I'll let him talk for a bit because he has a little speech at the beginning. He's still talking, guys. I gotta let him finish. Anyways, what he does is he tells you what he does right there. And once he's done, he says amen, because, you know, he's a priest. And that's what they do. They say amen once they're done. What I'll first show off is that you can move him around by being a distance away from him and using the Bible. See, there he is. He shows up. I'm gonna go put him in his church. Here I go. I'm reading the Bible. This is like 1 John or something. And there he is, in his natural habitat. Since I am a stand user, I can use Pucci's ability, which is Whitesnake, the one that we've been like showing off the whole time. I can actually use him to store my stand as a disc. So I walk up to him, and he asks you to read the Bible because he's a priest and that's what they do. And I also didn't want to have to code in an entire new item to make him do stuff. So that's why this is here. So I'm near him, and I right click this after he said that thing, and he goes, excellent, I'll make it so, because he's your ban. And now he will summon, oh god. He will summon Whitesnake, which will take your stand. He'll look at the disc, just for fun. And as you can see, I now have a stand disc. If I walk away, and then I walk up close, and I try to use the Bible, he'll just be like, at least you're reading the Bible. I don't know. And that's it. So he won't do anything. You can still move him around, like, here, sit down in the pews, just kidding. And he's a sort of a simple NPC, but I figured he's pretty important because storing your disc stands is very important. So now I have a stand disc, and I have 3 stand discs actually, but this one is Whitesnake. So when I have the stand disc, right-clicking it will give me Whitesnake back. But if I use, I think this one was the gold experience that I stole? Yep, there you go. You can see I now have gold experience. And the last stand disc that I have stored right here, again, I have not taken his advice to label any of these. Take them back. I can use this last disc right here. And as you can see, I have D for C, and I have unlocked Love Train. Good for me. So that was a tutorial on how to use Whitesnake as well as the new Pucci NPC that I added to my data packs. Something that's important to note is that since the last time that I uploaded, I've actually consolidated all of my packs in just one singular download. So every time I add a new stand or feature, they'll all be the same data pack. That makes it easier for me to update things and make sure that people who download the new stands will have versions that work with all of the old ones, right? So if I add a special interaction between Tusk and some other stand, it'll actually work right. Whereas if you add it to like an old Tusk, like the original Tusk data pack, maybe it wouldn't work because that's old and doesn't have the right scoreboards and stuff set up. Yeah, that's basically it. Hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like and subscribe because I'd like it if you did that. It's free. Only negative 10% of my subscribers are subscribed, so please like and all that. And yeah, thanks for watching. Download links for all this will be in the description. Have a good day.